Leave the football before the football leaves you. The football's left him. At this top level, he needs to call it a day at this level of football and move.
So France got absolutely destroyed yesterday by Italy. And shout out to Italy. Tonali was amazing, Ricci, and all these sort of guys. I mean, the goal from Di Marco was bellissimo. And Italy fully deserved to win the game. I'm not going to get overhyped and say Italy are back. No, Italy are back when they win Euros and World Cups. They need to figure themselves out more and more. And once Spalletti can show to me that he's not overthinking a game like he did at the Euros, then I will be on the Italy hype train again. But they played very well yesterday. Shout out to them. But France are in a conundrum here, right? Didier Deschamps is still the manager. They backed him. He's going to be the manager heading into the 2026 World Cup. So this is not a video where, yes, gotta sack him now, this sort of stuff. But they do need to change. Because if they don't change, France are going to be in a similar predicament to Germany from the 2010s. After they won the World Cup, everybody was high on Germany saying, oh my God, they're going to be great. And then they stuck with Joachim Löw and it just turned into disaster after disaster. And then he got sacked. Same thing with France in the late 2000s. There's so many examples where you see a national team. They just need a new voice, a new manager, and some different ideas. But they're just too stubborn or there's just too much loyalty involved. And right, cool. You praise the manager. Didier Deschamps has done a fantastic job. Been to a World Cup final, won the World Cup, won the Nations League, all this sort of stuff. Been to a Euros final in 2016. He's done a great job. Don't hurt your legacy. If you keep on going like this, France will not win the World Cup in 2026. They might have one of the best squads because of Olise, Barcola, Zaire Emery. So many ballers just consistently emerging on this side. But the tactics are going to be the downfall of this team. Look at Luis de la Fuente. Bring some new ideas to Spain and immediately you see results and they won the Euros. France need that sort of spark in their team. Once they get that spark, you're going to see a totally different France. But I'm worried for them because they're going to be too stubborn. They're going to stick with Deschamps, and I can tell with the players are just not feeling him anymore. They are basically in a relationship and they don't know when to end it. And once somebody cheats on somebody else, that's when they're going to end the relationship. And it's going to be the same thing. We can already see the early signs of this. Okay, yeah, we back Didier Deschamps. Oh, Didier Deschamps, you like these players? Yeah, they're cool. But then when they get to the World Cup of 2026 and they go out, let's say, in a quarterfinal round of 16, then there's going to be some backstories. Like 2025, oh no, Mbappe said this about Deschamps that they should have got rid of him. We already knew that. We're going to find that out. Can something change? The only thing that can change is Deschamps. If he doesn't change his ways, then France will not progress as a team. 2018, they had a fantastic team. They were such a well-drilled unit from Umtiti to Matuidi, Pavard, obviously Griezmann, Giroud, Pogba. They just fit into that sort of Didier Deschamps ball. Very organized at the back, good midfield, and just very elite forwards from Griezmann, Mbappe, as a youngster he was, Giroud doing amazing. But the team needs to evolve. You can't keep going with that same way. This team, it needs Pogba. Whether people like it or not, this team needs Pogba ASAP. But we're not going to see that same Pogba anymore because Pogba decided to do performance-enhancing drugs, and we're not going to see him anymore in France. Most likely, I can't imagine that he will return to the national team. So they need a Pogba. But then you look at Griezmann, and Griezmann's role with this team is not evolving. It's becoming very, very diluted. Very diluted. But he's still a great player. But you can tell that the age is starting to slowly creep up on Griezmann. He's not having that same impact anymore. Whereas maybe if they had, let's say, Olise in the 10 role, and I don't know, we're going to get to Mbappe in a second because I think this is a conundrum for Deschamps. Then you have Barcola, who's been fantastic this season. The player Barcola, he is elevating himself so well. And then either, you have Ousmane Dembele on the right. We'll go with that. But Didier Deschamps doesn't want to change. He's looking at Mbappe and saying, you're the guy. You're the captain. You're going to be our main man. But if you're going to do that, don't play Mbappe at striker. Because it's not working. Carlo is trying to do it, but even though he has a bit more of a free role, and Didier Deschamps is consistently going with Mbappe at the striker role. He's trying to build the team around Mbappe. And that might be his downfall as well. You cannot build the team around a dude who doesn't feel comfortable in that position. Mbappe is a fantastic player, one of the best players in the world. Out wide, either on the left side or the right side, not at the striker. And yes, sometimes he got the ball out wide yesterday, and he was looking very dangerous. Okay, so stick him there then. Don't play him at striker. And that's something that Didier Deschamps needs to take some slack at. He's not trying to build a team. He's trying to build a one-man team. Whereas France have elite players in so many positions, from Theo Hernandez, Saliba, Konate, obviously Zaire Emery, so many players. But he's not building a squad. It's a one-man team. And that's going to be another downfall for Deschamps. So will anything change? Of course not. The only way this is going to change if something disastrous happens. Like, they're in a real predicament in World Cup qualifiers, They're third place with, like, let's say 4 matches to go, and then they just switch it, hit the panic button, and go for a new manager. There's a manager who's just a lion, and he's looking at his prey, which is a zebra, and he's thinking to himself, soon I will be able to strike and take my position. And of course, that manager is Zidane. Please, we gotta get now a petition or something for Zidane to become the manager of the French national team. Because he would bring some new ideas. He would bring an elevated play to this national team. I think players look at Zidane, they're like, 1, goddamn, you are super bald. 2, that's Zidane. He's got that sort of figure about him. He's got that sort of presence about him where you're like, oh no, I'm going to listen to him and he's going to make us better. So I think this team desperately needs Zidane. And can you imagine then if Zidane becomes... it's going to happen eventually, and I would not expect anything else from Zidane, because he's completed club football, people. Back to back to back Champions Leagues. No, he's done with club football. He wants that World Cup as a manager. Zidane wants to really etch himself as the greatest person in football. One, as a player, and as a manager. The combination of the two. Will it eventually happen that Zidane is the manager of France? No doubt. But the time will not be now. It will be after 2026. Because with the way France are playing, you cannot tell me with their recent games, right? France have not scored more than 1 goal since beating Luxembourg 5th of June. They drew 0-0 with Canada, only beat Austria 1-0, drew with Netherlands 0-0, drew with Poland 1-1. The Belgium game was horrible, 1-1-0. The Portugal game was horrible, 0-0. And they lost to Spain, and they lost to Italy. If you want to talk about going up against a top team, the last top team they went up against was the Dutch last year in Euro qualifiers, October, and they beat them 2-1. That's the last performance where I'm like, oh no, France looked good. And remember, Mbappe scored a ridiculous goal in that game. These performances have been so bad, so average. Okay, Michael, you're going to say, it's the Nations League. Why do we care about this? It's not an important competition. I would agree, yes, that the Nations League, maybe for the top teams, isn't important. But France have won this competition before. They took it serious in 2021 when they won it in, was it Turin? I think, yeah, it was in Turin. So clearly France take this competition serious. And the game last night was pretty competitive. It wasn't all slow pace, nobody's really caring. No, players were caring about that game. So you can't give that excuse. But these performances gradually are getting worse and worse. And this is, for as talented as France are, they should be playing so much better. Okay, yeah, it's a results business. I completely get it. And your argument will be, Michael, he's made it to the semifinal. I don't care. We all, with our eyes, watched that Euros and all thought to ourselves, how are France doing this? They got juju, because there was no way France were a semifinal team. And of course, they made it because, well, they played horrible football, but defensively they were solid. But it's just over and over again. This will be the topic of conversation. When are you going to pull the plug and say, Didier Deschamps, merci, but you gotta go? That time will not be now. It will be soon. But France need that change. And until they do that change, then they will be an exciting team again. While Deschamps is manager, don't expect any exciting football, people, unless they go up against Gibraltar and score 14 goals. That's the only time. But let me know your thoughts in the comments down below, people. Should France now sack Didier Deschamps or continue with him until 2026? What should he change? If he doesn't get sacked, what does he need to change to the squad for them to play a lot better? Because with the talent they got, they should be playing a lot better. I've seen better football from Qatar and UAE than France right now. Remember to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you're new around here. Remember to join the Discord. The Discord is heating up right now during international break. But have a beautiful day. Stay safe in this crazy world. Till next time, adios.